Tonight, the topic is education in a free society. What does that entail? So I'll give you 3 reasons that I had an aversion to college. One is the athletics. College football season just started. And if you see interviews with some of these athletes, you think, wow, they can lift a ton, but they can't even spell it. Another version is the Animal House, partying, spring break, girls gone wild. It's just a 4-year drunken festival. And then the third part for me is the whole activism. Basically, you're more likely to see a student holding a protest sign than a textbook. But I think about 100 years ago, educational radical innovations in education. And one of the most influential ones was Maria Montessori. Someone who's ran her own Montessori school for 20 years is now taking some of those principles, the Montessori method, and everything else that she's done in education, and she's ready to launch Reliance College.
I learned a lot about the Montessori philosophy because, see, it's a lot more than just about little kids. It's about what do people need to learn at the different levels of their development. So about 15 years ago, I started a summer program for young adults, and I put everything I knew in it. But I was very concerned about developing young people into autonomous and self-reliant individuals. But even I was shocked at the outcome of it, because every year from the first year, I would get students at the end of the week telling me that their lives have been transformed.
Just for those first few days were so intense. It was reading, it was 3 hours at a time, and it was trying to understand a difficult text deeper than I ever had. I remember after the second day and after a break, things just started being easier. It was easier to keep track of my thoughts. It was easier to understand what the authors were saying. It was easier to play off of what the other 9 people in this seminar were saying. One of those weeks, it's probably worth a semester's worth of a class.
Our program for the college is an expansion of what we've been doing in the Great Connections. So it's a specially designed, rigorous liberal arts program with many practical skills built in. We're laser focused on what do students need to become independent and self-reliant individuals. The college is going to be all privately funded in order to keep it away from as many regulations as possible. Professors are going to have to be dedicated to the kind of teaching that we do. We also did a market test. They said, well, usually manufacturers and companies are looking for 40% interest. So what did we get? They said 87% interest. That means that there's a lot of interest in looking at alternatives in education. And it's because we're combining this rigorous liberal arts program with actual real world work. And that's what people are looking for these days.
So we want something to outlast us, because these ideas are really, they're timeless. They're perfectly timed, because this is something that we think the culture really needs.